Go. All right. So, guys, welcome to Heavyweight Nation podcast number 4. And today we are joined by Binghamton commit Collin Burns. So, what's up, Collin?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing good. Wait, actually, guys, so if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, smash the like button, and turn on post notifications to be notified for every single video that comes out. We'll be trying to do these 3 to 4 times a week. All right, that's pretty much it. So, what's up, man?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, Collin's a D1 committed to Binghamton, class 2024. So you're also a football player. You haven't made the choice to play football in college because Binghamton doesn't have a football team. So you might as well touch on that a little bit. So just talk to us a little bit about your football career, how it started.
So my dad was always a Penn State fan, so I've been going to Penn State football games since I was a little kid. And then I never really got into football until like 5th grade, and I was pretty terrible at it. Till I got into 7th grade, I started lifting. Going to 8th grade, I got like a tryout for the freshman team we have, and then I just got pulled up. And then sophomore year as a varsity, and went from there. Before I committed to Bing, I was looking at a lot of colleges for football. I was talking to like UPenn. I had a visit plan to UConn before I committed, so it was fun. It was hard doing both because slowly wrestling kind of took over, but I really devoted a lot of time to both of them.
Yeah, so you said UPenn, you're obviously like a pretty smart dude. Pretty good grades in school. So like, how do you go about like balancing like those two? It's like a general question.
Funny because so I don't enjoy doing my homework, so a lot of times I won't turn that in, but then I'll get some high grades on tests. So my average sits about a 90, but I got like a 1330 SAT.
Yeah, and you got into UPenn with that?
I was getting looked at by UPenn, but usually the what they ask for, like, to go to Ivies is like a 1300. So I would have been good.
Yeah, but they mostly change that. Like, if you're gonna play a sport there, they lower it like a lot. They'll just get
a lot.
So those are schools who looked at you for football, or like, is that just in general?
That was just football, but I mean, I have DMs from texts from a lot of schools, but those were just kind of the main ones.
So what were the main schools you were looking at with wrestling, just like before Bing?
I was on a Columbia train for a while. I was looking at going to Columbia for a while, and nothing really formulated after a couple times talking to the coach. And then I went to Bucknell a lot. I was pretty convinced I was going there for a while, and communication kind of fell off, and the door opened with Binghamton, and I visited there. And the first time I went, it was after freestyle state, so I was pretty tired, and it was a junior day. It was raining because it's New York and it's terrible, and it was kind of I talked to a coach from Penn State a little bit, not much. UB I looked at a lot, but then I went back to Binghamton in August of last year, and I had a visit with the team, and it was a really good visit. Coming to the end of my football season, they gave me a call, and they gave me my offer. And then the week after, I went down right before the Binghamton Bearcat Open, and I committed.
Yeah, that's cool. You said Penn State was looking at you, so when you're looking at schools, did who they had on their active roster really impact your decision? Because obviously Penn State had levels there, and Kirk just transferred not too long ago to Penn State. Did that impact you a lot? Or?
So I say talk to Penn State loosely. I had a couple emails back and forth. I have a friend who is named Keegan Carminetti. He's wrestled in some open tournaments. And he actually goes there now. So I talking to him in the off season. So just thought I might as well give it a shot. Emailed the guy, emailed me back. We talked a couple times, but nothing really came of it. And then, I mean, there's been some stuff. It's just stupid stuff. Like the link with our school in Cornell. I've been told the Cornell coach has been asked about me a couple times, but I really never pursued anything in any schools where there was clearly like a heavyweight they were bringing in, and it was somebody that they were gonna make
Fernandez.
make like a starter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fernandez was just a different breed, dude. Like his senior year. I'm from Jersey, obviously, so I actually wrestled in my junior year. It was bad. He shot right at me, just went to the outside, fell right on my face, put the legs in, and then he just stuck me with the cradle. It was like, yeah, I've never felt anything like it. Crazy thing about that is,
yeah, oh, you can go, sir.
I mean, if you looked at him like his junior year in high school, like he wasn't anything that crazy. He was just a random 220. He was still ranked third in the state behind a couple other D1 kids, Peter Chardy, who goes to Buffalo, and Zach Delvecchio, who may or may not be wrestling at Rutgers. So he just took a shot at heavyweight, ended up chin whipping and pinning the kid in the finals. So it was pretty interesting, to say the least, honestly. So is he like the main reason you didn't go to Cornell? Because obviously you have guys like Greg Diakomahalis and Yanni, who are both absolute studs that committed to Cornell.
Um, I I didn't. He was the reason I didn't pursue Cornell, I guess. I saw that they already had a lockdown slot, and I wanted to go somewhere where I could have a shot at wrestling for 4 years or the majority of my time there. So going to a place like a powerhouse like Cornell, or trying to go to Penn State, or maybe walking on somewhere and trying to earn a scholarship was not necessarily what I was looking for, because wrestling is a very unique sport that you don't need to go to a powerhouse school to be a great wrestler, and you can kind of make it yourself. So I took that into account when I was looking through my schools.
Yeah, so you just want to be at like a place where you can just like do your own thing. Yeah.
Well, in Binghamton, I love. It's hard to put into like words why I love Binghamton like I do. I obviously have the tie with two kids from my school already going there, but it's really like a family environment, and that makes me really comfortable there. Um, the coaches are from around my area, and they're just great guys, and I could tell every step of the way they were really like personable compared to some other coaches that were not.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. So we went over what your college career is gonna look like, how you went into it. So why don't you just start off by telling us like how you got into wrestling and like how this all came to be?
So the varsity football coach was the modified assistant wrestling coach, and he had asked me to do wrestling, and because I was in 7th grade and it was the varsity wrestling coach, it was a huge turn on for me. My dad had suggested it a couple times. I'm not from a wrestling family, but he knew that it could probably help with my football. So I started my 7th grade year. I remember my records for some reason. I went 4-5 my 7th grade year. My 8th grade year on modified, I went 11-1. And I didn't really do a ton of off-season wrestling. And then going into 9th grade, I started doing probably 2 days of practice a week until football season would start, and then I would stop.
Yeah. I mean, like the same with me too. Like my records, like starting off as like a freshman in high school, what do you have as your record?
So
You
I was undefeated on JV. I went
were
25-0, and then on varsity I went to the blood rounds of our sectionals, and I went like 4-5, 4-6.
yeah. So that's not bad as a freshman, obviously. So like you had the stud like above you, right?
Yeah, so our heavyweight at the time, his name's Nate Wybra. He he was a really, really good friend of mine, and kind of helped me through high school a little bit. Kid's a genius, but he he was our heavyweight, and then our 220 was Mike Spolina, who was from Hilton. He was a three-time state qualifier, 215 wins, I think he had at the end of his career. And then Louis Dupre wrestled 95 for most of our duels. We had actually a blind albino kid who crushed it pretty hard, and he switched off with Louis.
Yeah. So how many matches do you get per season in New York, just typically?
I think the most I got was last year. I ended my season with 53.
That's crazy. Because the win leader in New Jersey is Anthony Ashnault, and he has 170 wins, and he went undefeated all 4 years. Because I only had 36 matches.
Really,
Yeah.
we've we've had kids from around here. We have I'm in Division 1, which is big school. The small school kids will get more duels.
Like,
So I've seen kids that go to states from small school that 62 wins going into states.
so guys
Um,
like upwards of like 250 career wins.
yeah, all the time.
Because
I
Jersey,
don't remember Greg's career wins because he was out this year with his ACL.
yeah,
But we've had some kids that we had a kid that set the Spencerport, which is a school near us, win record with like 260.
yeah. How many? What's your career record?
I think I ended up 90, 92 and 20.
And that's as a 2 year starter,
3 year.
3 year. So what was
Yeah.
your record as a sophomore?
30, 39 and 9.
All right, so basically about 30, 20 wins each year. Yeah. Did you get injured at all? Or?
My football season this year,
You told me
I
a little bit, right?
I herniated a disc in my back. In that I played through my whole football season with it, but then when we got to wrestling, we decided to get it looked at, and it was supposed to be like a 6-month recovery, and we kind of grinded it out, and I ended up coming back at the end of January for our sectional tournament. I won the super sectionals, and then went to states. But I currently am having a little bit of shoulder problems, and I still going to PT for that. So
Do you regret that at all, trying to play through the entire football season, or like
I
if you?
had no. Funny thing about our football team is where I'm from. It's we're very country, where we have shirts that say "Bow down to Cowtown." So we're our motto really was we don't feel pain. So I have a friend, he's a D end. He's going to Mount Union, if you know that.
Yeah,
It's D3 powerhouse. And anytime anything would happen, he strained an ab partway through. We just said like we don't feel pain. So we tried to set the pace for our team to all the kids that would roll their ankle and complain about it, and we never really thought about it. It was just play through it, and we got to the end and a disc was broken in my back. So
Yeah. But nothing like ever felt off about it. It was just like playing through something that hurt.
uh, nothing felt crazy wrong, I guess. But I mean, I knew something was up when normally I can squat my butt to my heels, and when I would get down to snap the ball, I was having trouble.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I see that
so
happen with
that,
a lot of kids. You know, I've seen that happen a couple times with like some good D1 kids. Like, sometimes like their coach rushes them back into things. Like, and these are like some top level kids. Like maybe because like their team needs them. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
they're like the stud of the team. Like a lot of these D1 linemen, because like a lot of strokes in their knees already. They're like 6'6", 350, like all that. Like now that some of these guys are grown, which is kind of insane too to look at. So
yeah.
yeah. So just go back to wrestling a little bit. So like just going into your freshman year, like it's like how was it? Just like this
Um,
like middle school to high school.
so I didn't really understand the difference. I went into my freshman year with the varsity coach telling me that I would probably be the starter on varsity, and it obviously didn't happen. But because of that, I kind of worked my ass off. I lifted. I I mean that year I lifted daily and worked out daily, and I wrestled I twice a week um, for the rest of the year, and I went to some off-season varsity tournaments and stuff, and going in I was just anticipating uh, being able to go on varsity. So when I got in and I wasn't like getting up to that level quick enough when we were in the room, and they just decided to put our 220 and 285. When I had to wrestle JV, it really wasn't much of a competition. I mean, I had a lot of like 8-second pins, 12-second pins,
It's
and
just like
some texts and stuff like that. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I was just no. Just keep on. You're good.
Um, so I adapted to that pretty quick because I guess training for varsity JV wasn't really much, but varsity kind of met its standards. I pinned my first varsity match in 35 seconds. Funny enough, in a bar. Same tournament, I got pinned like 4 times. And then I didn't really wrestle too much varsity that year, so.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. Like except my freshman year, basically. So it was me as a first year kid. I got called up to varsity for football. It was crazy because I didn't even like start on the freshman team. Like I was terrible. Like I posted some of my freshman matches. You might have seen them. And I was just there. I walked on the wrestling. The coach was like, "Okay, you can join," because they had a senior kid also who's also a first year wrestler, right? The craziest part of this, the kid was engaged, right? He ended up a week into the preseason. He ended up dropping out of school and then getting married and then moving to Florida.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the craziest things. He's like, "Oh, he's gonna come back next week." I was seeing him in school for a couple of days, and this kid just disappeared from everything. And then it was like I was like awful to the point where like I couldn't win a single JV match. And then one time he says, "Oh, he would just bring me out with the varsity for like see, oh, they had heavyweight. Maybe the other team forfeits if they get choice first. And then he would just send me out there to take a forfeit or something like that." But that never happened. Teams were just bumping up. Teams were straight up just telling their 195, like a JV 195, to not make weight so they could bump them up to heavyweight. Like it was that bad. And then one match he just called, like he would just have me stand in the tunnel and he actually sent me out. And he was like 0-0, both of us stalling the hell out of the match. Second period, he tells me to pick bottom. I get broken down right away. He just grabs my ankle, runs me to the ground. And I was just about to give up and get turned because I was gassed at that point. Kid throws in the half. I start building up. My coach was yelling, if he stays on his knees, just charge at him as hard as you can. just take a shot at something. I got up, he was on his knees, so I just grabbed him and fell on top of him and ended up pinning him. It's still the highlight of my career. Like I ended up winning my first tournament only tournament junior year. And then my coach is like, which feels better? What's your favorite match of your career? I straight up said that one. He just started laughing. Because all I see is I'm looking at our sideline, the coach just jumps up in the air. And like he himself was shocked that I actually won. It was wild. Yeah. And they put me out in 2 more varsity matches. Got majored and got teched in one, and the tech was like a pity tech too. Like he wasn't trying to pin me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was rough. Honestly, not gonna lie. But then senior year, 26-10, not bad. Wrestled 6 state-ranked kids, 2 D1 kids. So
Pretty good.
yeah,
Tough state.
yeah, it is. I wrestled a Rutgers commit this year. I actually ended up lat dropping him. It was dope.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah, you did. You know who he is, right? Or no?
What was his name?
What was it? Marcus Estevez.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah, I mean he's a 2-time state placer. Part of this is so we had 2 kids on our football team that went to that school. They transferred to us. They actually ended up transferring back before that season. I saw that I had this kid on my schedule, and then I'm like, okay. I watched like 5 hours of film on this kid. I kid you not. I see him at states. He's always trying to force an over under, and I see him just walk at a knee pick. It's not even like he drops down charges at the knee pick. He just walks into the taps and just pulls you, right? And then the kid was he was pretty good coming into it. The craziest part is I came into the season this year at 300 pounds, and it's like I had my cut and everything. It wasn't even a cut, right? It was just like eating a little bit better. I was down to 283.3, but the thing I didn't think of was the hydration thing, right? I was 290 before thinking, oh, I'm chilling. I'm gonna make 285. It's not gonna couldn't make 285 for hydration. And I get there, my hydration plan says 285.3. I'm just not allowed to wrestle that day. So my coach is like, I'll get you an exhibition match, right? With this kid. I'll try to get you an exhibition match with all 3 because they're all just gonna get forfeits. Why not get another match, the first match of the season, right? So 2 of the kids just didn't want to wrestle me. And then I see this kid. He pins his one kid. He just grabs double unders and like flings this kid to his back in 20 seconds. Compared to like the other kid was a fish, right? So he had me stunned. He had me stand in the tunnel every time just to intimidate, maybe get a forfeit. Because keep in mind, I'm like 6'2", 6'3", and like I was like 285. I was like, and I'm not even like that fat. Like I look pretty big. And then this match, I'm just chilling. Like I had so much water, I had to piss so bad. And then I'm just chilling there, and he actually sends me out, and I get so freaked out. And then I run to the table, I'm like, okay, what did I learn? So he comes upper body. I see him reach at a knee pick. I go lat drop. It's like the entire team knew about the plan except for a head coach. Everybody told me it wasn't going to work, right? So he comes immediately and starts like actually like dropping to the ground, acting like he's about to take a shot. He might have, I don't know. And then we start throwing fakes a little bit. I try to go rushing. He goes double unders, and I'm just like running backwards for my life. I'm like, do I want to do it now? Maybe, maybe not. And then he goes double under. I see him reach at the knee pick, right, and I throw him. The worst part is like I closed my eyes and did it, and not I was expecting to get clapped like right on the ground, right, and just pinned. And then like my consciousness like doesn't come back, and I hear everybody yelling. I'm like, oh, I must have hit him like or something, right? And then he was bellying down. I'm like, damn it. And then so I just cut him because like nothing's functioning in my brain. Like looking back at this, I probably should have called injury time or something, but I didn't. And then he just starts charging at me like nothing is going through my head right now. I hear a bunch of people yelling, and then what was it? I just see like a big blob just running at me like as fast as he can. And then I feel something. I'm like, this might be double. This might be over under. And I go for a latch off again, and then I feel him like fall to the side of me. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take the underhook, punch, overhook, pull, right? Thinking that okay, he might fall to his back end. I might get it, might not. And then I feel him just start pushing on top of me. I'm like, damn, I messed this up. And then after I got up, still nothing got to me. I didn't believe anything that happened. I just thought I was like in a coma or something. I shook his hand. The kid looked so mad when he was looking at me. I walk off the mat. I just go, whatever. You can't be mad about that. I might have thrown him. I might not. I don't know what happened until I saw the video. Like, and actually, my coach was like, I want to see you wrestle like that the entire season. If you can wrestle like a kid of that caliber, it was the funniest thing ever. Like one of the stat girls, she took a video, and like I didn't believe that I actually threw him until I saw the video because all I remember was going for the throw and me getting pinned. Like I had no recollection of what happened like in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So like what I'm thinking to myself like now, like I get so happy but like so mad while watching it. Cause like on the plus side, I threw like a major Big Ten recruit. And on the false side, like if I had kept my consciousness and actually had faith that was gonna work, I might have stuck him. Like who knows? And then
Yeah.
the only thing my coach ever brought up, he's like, "You going out there with no fear, wrestling?" Because like I never made it to states before that, or even this year, I got screwed with the draw. But coach was like, if you can wrestle against a kid who's a two-time state qualifier, placed in the state, ranked second in the state now, you can do it to anybody. And it was just like a bro moment. He's like, too bad it was an exhibition match, so it wouldn't have mattered if anything happened. Because he won. Like I actually low key feel bad about this because like the main thing is this kid was like, I know damn well his coach told him just work your stuff. This kid doesn't know what he's doing. He's definitely like a first year wrestler or something. And I go out there, I'm like, nope, flat drop, just for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, dude.
So
Still the
I'm
highlight.
not I'm not a big throw guy usually. But when I wrestled a friend of mine actually for third place last year at states.
Yeah, you tossed
And it was my fourth time wrestling that year. Kids from my section, he beat me. I was up 7-4 in the state qualifier, and he Batman rolled me and pinned me. And we get to the states Conci finals and wrestling, and it goes into overtime 1-1. And I was exhausted at this point. I had lost. In the semifinals, I had a leg up on a single, and same thing as you. Everything was just rushing, and I don't even remember exactly what happened, but I just remember going for like the inside trip with the leg on the outside, and I dropped myself with 3 seconds left and got taken down. So I was pretty totaled for the day. So I'm like, I'm just whatever happens, and I go in and I throw a headlock. I was just watching this match back again, and we land side to side with me like this on the opposite side of him, and he starts basing up, and I start flipping over, and I hip heist over and hop over his body and just end up behind him for 2, and it was crazy. He wrestles. He's a red shirt at UB right now. But that was funny.
Yeah, it happens like that. It's like nobody that's not a heavyweight is ever gonna understand that because like you never get to the point where like you're so brain dead they have like no idea what's going on. It's crazy. It's happened to me in so many matches. Like I wrestled another kid. The kid ended up pinning his way to the state quarterfinals. Was an absolute stud, but like I held him to a 2-1 decision. Like the 2 points he got were off a failed throw. Like right. He goes for double under, so I'm like double over lat drop right away. Because like for me, like throws, like I use them in bad situations sometimes, and I pin myself. But it was like my senior year, I learned how to throw, so I'm like, why not do it? It's fun. You're not gonna go do this to kids in college. So I'm like, okay, he has double unders locked. The throw, I got the throw right, but I didn't get it. He double unders, so I go extremely hard, try to arch my back as much as possible. When I land on this kid's like 6'5", 280, right? Not even like fat, like pretty strong. I land on my head and like everything just goes black for a second, and I have him on his back. I hear everybody yelling again, and then I try to hip over, and he's just on top of me. It's like I don't even know how to explain that to my coach because my coach got so mad afterwards. He's like, I know this kid was good. I know he was on paper it's like an outmatch, right? Like he should have pinned me in the first period the way he was looking. But yeah, he ended up picking bottom, and I ended up riding him out for 2 periods. The ref didn't want to give me stall calls though, so it's fine.
So
pretty much every other time I throw also. So I mean,
funny thinking back on all the 4 times I've ever thrown people, but I was wrestling in this shitty little tournament. Sorry, in the middle of nowhere. And I realized that this kid was going to be there. I was ranked second in the state, and this was last year, and he was ranked third. So I didn't realize what this kid looked like or how he wrestled. I didn't really do any film or anything like that on him. So we get there. I wake up late that day, so I run out to the bus. We get there. I warm up, do my stuff, and this kid is the biggest kid I have ever seen in my entire life. He was easily, 6'4", 6'5", 285 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Like no, this kid wasn't fat at all.
You know his name?
Broad chest. His name is Jake Stangle. He doesn't wrestle in college, but he is a football player. I don't know what he does now. I have him on Instagram, so I can send you his Instagram. You see this kid.
Yeah, dope.
But he dwarfed me. I mean, I was tiny compared to this kid, and he just bitched me around basically. I mean, I liked doing arm drag drop to a single, and I'd arm drag, he'd re-arm drag, and my arm would just like fly.
That's what I get to the kid all the time. Just re-arm drag and like hit like a boot scoot on him for no reason.
We get to the second period, and I throw in double legs. I'm just trying to crank him. I'm on top of him. I got pretty big legs, but I'm just cranking on top of him, and he's not breaking down. So I take out the legs and I cut him, trying to get a takedown. I don't get it. I'm down like 5-1 at this point, or 5-2. We get into the third period, and I think he turned me. He turned me, and I got up something. It ends up he's with a pretty big lead, and I go on the edge of the mat. I go head pinch hip toss, and I just launched this kid into net, like straight over my body. Kid flew through the air onto his back. We went out of bounds. And I went for it again, and I slipped it, and I lost the match. But it was, to this day, it was the best throw I've ever hit, and the kid was the size of a truck.
Yeah.
That kid was seeded second at states, and in his first match, he was getting upset by the 15 seed or whatever, and the kid had a single on him, and this kid just straight grabbed his chin, elevator right over his head, put him in a cradle, and pinned him.
Oh, God. You know who Nash Huntmatcher is?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I don't know why he's not wrestling in college. It's definitely the cut he makes every year. I saw a video of him. He was doing like sitting box jumps or something, like where you sit, stand up, and jump on a box. He had 50-pound dumbbells in each hand. It was a 34-inch box. Keep in mind, it said he was weighing 310 at this point. The crazier part is like he didn't look like an ounce of fat. Like he's extremely jacked too, right? And he's just jumping like consecutive and like that's wild. And I'm like, okay, this kid's a lock to win at Fargo, right? He proceeds to get,
and then he gets tossed.
Yeah, you saw that, right? He got that drop.
Yeah, yeah. And then that kid lost the round. What did that kid do?
It wasn't that Lee Harrington though.
It might have been.
Yeah, because he pinned Colton Schultz also. You ever saw that? It's like people pin themselves against him. It's like Colton went for a 4-point throw, gets it immediately, goes for 4 after, and then he just gets stepped over and pinned. Because it's not even like he pinned him. It's just like a bad throw on his part.
Yeah.
Rushes matches. Yeah. But Colton did win the next two to beat him, so, and then beat Robbie Smith afterwards.
Yeah, that doesn't. That kid's crazy. I mean, since I learned about rankings, I mean, Kirklebliet and Gable and Colton Schultz, I've always just like looked at these guys and like, how?
It's like Seth Neville's too in high school was a dog.
all these guys. I mean, it blows your mind to think of what these guys have done at the age that they've done it.
Yeah.
I mean, Colton Schultz wrestled Adam Kuhn in Final X.
Yeah. I mean, he
And
got
was
bodied a
in
little
high
bit,
school.
but yeah, that's crazy to think.
I mean,
It's like Gable got teched by Adam Kuhn, like was like a year and a half ago, and then next time they wrestled, he teched him. Yeah,
it's
it's
just
insane.
and to think I mean, Adam Kuhn is the man's a monster.
Yeah, he's not a freestyle.
But
It's like Greco's his thing.
Greco's his thing.
Yeah.
But to think that you have guys that are coming out of high school,
yeah,
and they're just at that level where they can compete with them. I mean, even at any level, say you get teched. I mean, I'd get teched in the first 30 seconds, and these guys are taking it the distance with them. Just it blows my mind. It really does.
and this crazier thing too that like Adam Kuhn's still a top 5 freestyle heavyweight like in the world. Because if you're gonna look at the list, like obviously you have Taha Ghul at number 1. He beat Nick Wasdowski like 7-0. And then
guy's an animal.
And then you have Guiz, and then you probably got some other guys. You got Google, and then you got Amar Desi who wrestles for Canada, and then you got Adam Kuhn, like top 5 right there. Crazy thing, Amar Desi.
I just completely blanked. For the past couple of years, or not a couple of years, the past couple of months, all of my focus has been on 65 kilos, obviously, because of Yanni. So I just completely have fallen off on world freestyle for heavyweight. I mean,
Yanni's been pulling
I saw Agul beat Gwiz when he did, and that was just because he had a camp near here, and I wrestled him for a little bit. We did freestyle, and I mean, the guy's faster on his hips than I am on my feet. I mean, the speed that he can move is insane, and he's not really that big. I mean, he's not that tall. So him competing at the world level is insane, let alone anything. He's just an animal. So when you see him get crushed by guys like that,
you look like at the talent, like in just the U.S. in general, just that heavyweight, like we have more depth than like any other weight class we have, right? Except for maybe 65 as Yanni, Zane, Jordan Oliver, Frank Molinaro, like all of those guys. But if you look at heavyweight, again, we have Nick Wasdowski. Just going freestyle. We have Nick Wasdowski. We have Adam Kuhn. We have Gable Steveson. I would say Amar Desi wrestles for Canada though, but he could definitely. He's probably could beat Gable. Honestly, like it's toss up at that point in freestyle. You have Anthony Cassaro showed some stuff. Don Bradley, Tony Nelson. Those are just like top guys. They could all be ranked in the world at this point.
Yeah, it's heavyweight is really just a crazy thing, and it just keeps getting better and better because you see heavyweight's really changing from like guys who are, I mean, huge but kind of fat, and some guys that are non-athletic, to just a lot of guys who are maybe like bulked 197s and are just tanks. I mean, that's like I'm only 240 right now. And my goal was to be 260 by the time I went to Bing, but right now I don't have any weight, so the only way it's 260 is eating ho-hos. So that's, if I do that though, I'm dead. I mean, even Bing's heavyweight right now, I think he's in 230s, 240s, and he tosses around guys who are just fat 285s.
Yeah. Crazy thing, like really people like, you done there?
Yeah, sorry.
The crazy thing people overlook is like you overlook like how strong these kids are. You know AJ Ferrari, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Was he? He's gonna be a senior in high school.
I think so. Yeah.
No, he's a year younger than me. So yeah, he's gonna be in senior high school. This kid's popping up like 325, 335 on the bench. It's not strict, like he's extremely bouncing it, but for being like 220 and like a 17-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid, that's insane. And like guys like Kirkley, it also people are like, oh, he's only 220, he's not gonna be that strong. Like if you look at the way these guys wrestle, it's like Kirkland doesn't even wrestle like the skinny athletic dude. Like he just straight up bodies dudes. If you ever saw
Yeah.
his match at the U23 Open or something like that, he wrestled Jordan Wood from Lehigh. All he did, Wood walked at him with upper body. Kirkland literally picked him up and suplexed him over his head. You probably follow him on Instagram, right, Kirk?
Curvely, yeah.
Yeah. You ever see his benching videos?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
What do you do? Pop up like 405, and he's only weighing what, like
Yep.
235, maybe 240. He's pretty tall, so I mean, yeah, probably.
Pretty.
Yeah. It's like
I mean,
people
sorry.
underestimate the size of these guys too. It's like you have guys like people like smaller guys like Mason Paris and Gable Stevenson and all that. But Paris is a solid 255. Gable's a solid 250. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't got many small dudes anymore, just like in general. Like the small dudes are like 250, but like they're shredded.
Yeah. It's just different level, you know. I mean, you look at high school and you have some of these kids who are just, I mean, some kids who are really, really fat and they'll do good. With wrestling skill alone, I mean, state champs and stuff like that, but they're not physically in shape, but they just know how to do the right thing. So once you get into college and everyone knows how to do the right thing, even if you can have a little bit better technique, you need to have the athleticism. So however you want to do that, whether you're 285 pounds of fat, if you can have the athleticism, you can, but most of these guys get it by cutting pretty significant amount of weight.
It's like what's his name? Derek White.
Yeah.
It's like he was a smaller guy, but the thing about him, like why he didn't get Kassar, he wasn't athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like if you looked at him, there was just like you would have guys like what's his name, Sam Stoll, Nick Neville, Adam Kuhn, like all down here in like athleticism, and then you would have like Derek White, who's a solid up here. Like you'd have Kassar, who's just like athleticism was just like unmatched, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like Derek White was athletic because he was 240, but he didn't have like that natural athleticism. Like he's still a great wrestler. Like I was watching him wrestle. He almost beat Adam Kuhn. He only lost 6'4", and there was a controversial step out.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was insane. I think he only lost to Tony Nelson 2-1 too. Gwiz and Gable were the only guys that really, and Kassar are the only guys that really seen handle him too. Because I know,
and he's a perfect example, really, of like heavyweight is just changed so much because he was a 197 pounder that they just bulked the absolute living heck out of.
Spot to Preston Weigel that year. I think he placed third, Weigel, at 97.
What's it called? What did Kassar? You remember what weight Kassar actually went into college at? Because it wasn't heavyweight.
It was 97.
Yeah.
He was 195 state champ his senior year. If you know the old Rutgers heavyweight Ralph Normandia, you probably haven't heard of him. He wasn't that great. That's Zul Kassar beat in the state finals.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think Kassar should have gotten the spot as a junior, but if he loses the wrestle off, he loses. But I think that win over Collin Moore should have basically secured him the spot for the postseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks to see it go out that way because he really could have been a 4-timer. he wins his junior year, he wins his senior year, then he has like the extra 2 years. Who knows what happens then? Yeah.
Yeah, and sucks with the whole thing that's going on. I mean, look at what happened with Valencia. Valencia was out of there, and 184 just opened right up.
That's his
I
own
mean,
fault, dude.
we were all looking. Louis had beat most of the kids. I think I don't remember who was the 1 seed.
um,
Um,
Taylor Lewan, Taylor John.
was he the one?
Yeah, I think
Um,
Aaron Brooks was the 2 seed. Yeah, I don't know honestly. I know.
I'd have to look at it. I could tell you if I looked at the
No,
rankings.
I know Luhan was the 1 seed from UNI. I think Lou might have been
Yeah.
the 2 seed and Brooks the 3 seed. That wouldn't have been,
No, Louis I think was the 4. But he was set up in a good spot to win it. And last year he blood rounded, but
yeah.
he beat
Oh,
Max Dean,
who was it? Hunter Bolin from Virginia Tech was the 2
Hunter
seed.
Bull, and
Yeah, I don't think you. I think Brooks would have made the finals over him. Honestly,
I think he would have too.
people were sleeping on Cameron Caffey too from Michigan State. That dude had the run of his life.
That he really did. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that hair.
And I mean, that's what I was gonna say. The first time I saw him, it was the hair that really got me. So I saw him a couple times. I was like, wow, this guy's got great hair. And
people were like, Brooks is an athletic freak. This guy's just on a new level. Like I saw him walking with the underhook, goes to take like a sweep single to like the opposite side, and then comes up and just hip toss the kid out of nowhere. It was insane.
Yeah.
Watch. It's like he's so quick that he can generate like so much power from it. And like I think he had Brooks like almost taken down there. Who knows? If he got that, he wins the match. So yeah. So with the Heat not coming back, really, it's honestly very open because like you just have like a cluster of guys there. You have Luhan, you have Brooks, Caffey, Hunter Bolin, Lou Dupre, Trent Hidley, and like a lot more guys just to come with up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely be interesting to see how next year shakes out because, I mean, as much as it sucks that these guys don't get another shot and they lost their chance, and I feel terrible for them if I was in that position. It would just be so hard logistically to figure out how to give them another shot.
Yeah.
Because it was at such a terrible point.
Yeah. Like, is it still too late to reschedule? It might be, honestly. Because I don't think guys will make the cut.
Yeah, well,
it's way too late.
I think it would. I don't think you would want it to be rescheduled at this point. I mean, I'm sure these guys are training, but I just know from our team,
those guys have come to peace with it at this point.
Yeah, not a lot of people have the access to the training they need or can get. So, I mean, you would see some people who haven't practiced in a month. Even though they may be in shape, they'd be rusty in the wrestling.
Because a lot of these guys
wouldn't see as good.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, because a lot of their
Sorry, you're good.
Just like over, you know, like those seniors, like a lot of these guys, like the first time qualified for the national tournament, they're not really wanted by the international circuit, so they're just out. That's just tough.
Yeah, it really is, but it's such a crazy thing that's going on here. I mean, there's so much that was supposed to go on that hasn't. I planned on so much off-season wrestling.
Just disappeared. That's dope.
Lifting and stuff that just can't happen. Gyms are closed.
Yeah. I haven't lifted in so long. I gained like 30 pounds. Keep in mind, I was 285 like when the season ended. I was 311 this morning. I was like, Jesus.
I've actually lost 10 pounds.
Yeah. No, you got like two groups of people at heavyweight. Some that struggle to gain weight, other ones that just barely making it.
Yeah. I can't. I mean, I can gain and drop pretty easy.
Yeah.
Last year when I went to Eastern States, I I weighed in the second day at 237.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, I'm not doing this light thing anymore. I was having a bad time getting out from bottom.
Yeah.
So I decided to bulk, and I got up to 260 within a month.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, was it like good weight, or
Son,
was it just like,
it was good weight. I mean, yeah, I was taking creatine,
yeah,
um, and I was just we lift for wrestling, but I was kind of just having like the best. That was my best tournament ever. Was my junior states.
would you place?
I took third and lost pretty close one in the semis.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to like run through picks or something for heavyweight or like something like that?
Sorry.
You want to run through like national picks for heavyweight?
National picks for heavyweight.
Yeah, why not? I mean, top
All
two are
right.
pretty solidified with Gable and Paris.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay in that order.
So you give it another year.
Mhm.
I'm going to go. 1 sec. Let me grab my phone. I got to look at something really quick.
All right.
Take me 3 seconds.
Yeah, you're good.
But I'm going to say that you're gonna have Gable.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take second is Cassiope.
Cassiope.
I'm gonna take Paris as third because I think if you give Cassiope another year at Iowa, he's gonna come up. Paris really, he's an athletic freak.
Yeah,
I've talked to some ins with like some people who know some stuff. That's about all I can say. But just that he really hadn't wrestled a lot of off season going into Michigan. So when he got there and he got put on a D1 Big Ten program, lifting and working out and wrestling year round, I mean, he just kind of evolved. So I think you give that time to Cassiope as well, you're going to see him just skyrocket.
we got like the same thought process on that too. Like I was like the only guy saying like give Cassiope an extra year, give Neville's an extra year, and they're just gonna boost like insanely high with those rankings. Like you saw the same thing with guys like Sam Stoll and Adam Kuhn, right? Two bigger guys. The bigger you are, the longer it's gonna take you to build into your body, right? You saw Adam Kuhn just he was the one seed at Big Tens. Like he was a freak, right? And he ended up getting like whooped by some guys just because he couldn't. The fact that he couldn't get out from bottom, he was just getting muscled, like at 285. Like the same thing with Stoll. Stoll was actually like probably right up there with Adam Kuhn. Same scenarios, right? It was just like weird to see that. But like after you gave them another year, they went way up in like in the rankings too.
Yeah.
I just think
So
no, you got it.
all right, I'm gonna give you my exact
Do you have
top
it written
6.
down?
I don't have it written down, but I can just tell you what I'm thinking here. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go Gable Stevenson 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Cassiope 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go. I'm gonna go Kirkvliet 3.
Mm-hmm.
Paris 4. And then 5, I'm going to say is the Yaroslav Slavkowski kid.
Yeah. You think he's gonna take 5th?
I think he can. Yeah, I mean that kid is a specimen.
Yeah, he's great. Like I saw him at Midlands too, but he did lose to Trent Hoger.
He did.
Mean, he was 3-1. I think he might have. He almost had Hoger taken down too.
And that kid's a freshman too, or was a freshman. So
was he a true freshman, right?
Yeah. You can't redshirt at well, technically you can't redshirt at IVs.
Nah, you can. Because
no.
Good amount of these guys, like Fernandez was in redshirt. Cornell.
You can't.
You're not supposed.
You can't redshirt It's
I
you
think
go
they're
to
just
like a community college.
oh, that's why they have like Finger Lakes Wrestling Club.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where Greg's going next year. Is he's wrestling Finger Lakes and then he's going to Cornell. Last
So
time I talked to him.
yeah. So where do you think you know Zach Elam, right?
Yep.
Do you think he's gonna place?
No,
No,
I don't think so. No,
no. Because I saw
that's
him.
just me.
Yeah, because I saw him this one match. He went to overtime with Derek White,
Hmm.
but he in like at Natty's he didn't have a bad run. Who did he not? He knocked off Conan Jennings.
Yep.
It was like in double
Northwestern.
overtime, but he does like he's a freak like of nature, like physical wise, like he's insanely strong. Trains with Don Bradley every day. Think about that. Like you still don't think he's gonna place?
Eh, it's hard because
You have like so many guys too.
there's so. I mean, you have Gannon, Gremmel, Tate Orndorff, Jordan Wood.
Do you
Like
think
these guys.
do you think Orndorff is gonna get the spot over Gary Traub?
It's a
Because
good
that's what I don't
question.
know. Because you have Neville's versus Kirk Vliet. I either think Neville's bodies Kirk in the thing and pins him on top or something like that. Probably not pins him, gets a riding time or something like that. Because you have to think that these guys could meet at the Southern Scuffle, right? For Penn State,
Yeah.
just like Neville's versus Kassar almost happened. Nick
Yeah.
Neville versus Kassar. But I also think Orndorff versus Gary. I think Gary's probably going to get the spot. Because if you saw Orndorff versus Hilger, right? It went to overtime. Hilger blast doubled him right to his back and pinned him. I just think that Gary is probably going to gas him out, just like he does. And I think if he puts on a little bit of weight too, with Chase
Yeah.
making the cut to 97, I don't think he's going to do that for nothing, you know?
Yeah. I think Traub wins that, but I think when it comes to Penn State, if I was Seth Neville's, I don't know if I would stay at Penn State.
Yeah.
I don't
I think
think.
Seth Neville's transferred already once too.
I personally don't think there's any way that he beats Kirkwood. Um, I Kirkwood is just he's too good for like for where he is, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Seth Neville's, he's had his brother kind of like
Yeah.
to work with, and he's had his brother as an influence.
Yeah. It's like the thing that like you had AJ and Zach Neville's, I think, at Fresno State. And then Nick was at Penn State. Seth transferred to Penn State because everybody thought Seth would be like the one big guy. Because like Nick was obviously set apart from like AJ and Zach, right?
Yeah.
He was obviously a better class, and Seth was just seeming that way too. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Mhm.
kind of the interesting part I'm seeing with this.
Yeah. But I don't know what happens there. You might honestly, you might see one of them stuck. I mean, they might try really hard to get down to 97. I mean, can you imagine a Penn State team with Kirkwood or Neville's at 97?
I don't think it's like Neville's going to 97 is just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Kirkwood it could.
Kirkfield is like solid muscle too. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I mean, you see people cutting obscene amount of weight. I mean,
But like at heavyweight, it's different because like you're not used to the whole cutting weight thing.
I mean, Greg told me a story. Yeah, but that's like that. I think that's a blanket thing. I mean, you say heavyweight, not used to cutting weight, but this guy's been wrestling since he was 4 years old. There's no way he hasn't.
It would just suck to see like another Neville's get benched too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. If I was him, I mean, I'd just cut your losses and what are you gonna do? I mean,
He's
they
a
bring
redshirt freshman.
What'd you say?
Like he's a redshirt freshman, right? He goes somewhere. He still probably makes the national tournament.
I mean, Seth Neville's transfers. He'll make the national tournament. Like I don't see they're not.
I think he could be like the one guy where you see like a huge boost in him too. Like the same with Cassiope.
Yeah.
Like the thing that didn't make sense to me is the way he got. Like I thought Neville's versus Cassiope would be decently close matches because they're both like similar body types, similar styles. But the difference between them is like Neville's likes to body people, but he doesn't have like that D1 strength yet. Cassiope likes to play more finesse, and then that's really what won him the match, right?
Yeah. Um, the thing that you just see there is like Kirkovliet's already competing with top level
Yeah.
guys.
He has a
So,
Jordan Wood.
yep.
Yeah.
If you put both of them in the same place with the same training regimen, I can only see Kirkovliet coming out on top. I mean, uh, I don't know about like their personalities or like how they train, but if Kirkovliet has any sort of if he has any sort of motivation to work hard and be the best, he's gonna do it.
Yeah. We just hit an hour, by the way. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just keep going.
All right.
So, some other guys at this weight class like ranked really low. You know who Zachary Knight and Ward is
Yep.
from Hofstra? He could
Yes.
he has big moves in his back pocket. He's a guy
Yeah.
I started following. He could he qualified for the national tournament this year. I think he was a 28 seed. I think he can definitely make some noise. Like
Yeah. He beat Bing's heavyweight at EWAS.
yeah. He's good. He got some stuff. He's insanely strong dude. He commented on one of my posts. I just followed him one day, started checking his stuff out. He's chill to talk to. What's the other guy? Give me a second. John Birchmeyer from Navy.
Yes. Yeah. He's
I'm not sure if
wrestled
he
him.
qualified this year. Yeah, you told me about. Dude's a stud.
Yeah. Dude's a unit.
Yeah. He's a cheerleader too, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
I when I saw that it I laughed
He'd
so
be full
hard.
of though,
But
like low key, like
hey, dude, he can do it. He can do what he wants. I'm not gonna judge him. But
I mean,
that is,
yeah,
I think he'll do something too. I mean, Navy had a lot of guys this
yeah,
year
of course.
heavyweight.
So what do you? So
But
we'll just jump into. Did you say something?
oh no, oh good.
So you top four, you had Gable, Cassiope, Kirk, and Paris. Number five,
Yep.
who'd you have number five?
The Yaroslav.
Yeah. How about
And
number six?
then 6, I'm going to probably. It's a hard one.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I'm gonna take.
Matt Stencil.
I think it goes down between Matt Stencil and Fernandez. Honestly, I mean,
Fernandez.
yeah, I
You know what's
think
an interesting matchup I came up with? Put a guy like Luis Fernandez. Luis is like pushing 270 or something like right now, right?
yeah, he's a big guy.
He looks insanely good too for his body. Put Luis Fernandez and Trent Hilger up against each other. Two very similar styles, mostly like low shots. Both can shoot below the knee. Both have Lewis's leg defense isn't the greatest I'm seeing, but Hilger's like the all around best technical heavyweight I've seen in this weight class so far. Great leg defense, great top ride. Can't really be held down in bottom except by like Gable. That has insane top just strength. You put them two up against each other. What do you think the score is?
I think so. There's so many people, so
Yeah.
it's hard to think about. But
We'll
just
keep going
between
beyond
them,
the podium though.
we're gonna say. I'm gonna say Hilger beats him. I don't think that's a high scoring match, but I can't really tell.
They
That's the
have amazing
problem.
defense both, but like I think if Hilger gets on a shot, one of the things happens. Fernandez either gets his leg back immediately and scores, or they get into like more of like a because I don't know if Fernandez can scramble because all I've really seen of Fernandez in high school was him just like bodying kids, right?
Yeah,
The same
yeah,
with Hilger too, but Hilger showed him more technically. Like Fernandez would just have an oversized shrug and just toss kids to the floor, didn't even drop on legs or anything. And then he would just have that double leg and suck back, right? But
Yeah.
you know the Stanford kid David Shomney, the
I
insanely dude.
don't.
No,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, insane, like the monster looking dude. He beat him. I think it was like 9-1 at the Southern Scuffle, I think, and he only lost to Grummo 4-0. And now two of those points is because he got ridden out, and he lost it two,
Yeah.
and he gave up two on a takedown off his own shot. So it's not like that match could go either way too. So you think Fernandez takes 6?
Uh, I don't see that. That's where it's a toss up for me.
Because I think
I think it's
no.
interchangeable between a couple guys. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's interchangeable between him and Trent Hilliard.
yeah. Because I don't want to say anything biased. Like I'm from New Jersey. He wrestled in New Jersey. He's a
Yeah.
really chill dude. I've talked to him a couple times, but like I'm gonna say it like right now, like he's gonna be a national champ.
I think
There's
he
just something
has the
different about him. Like I
potential.
don't know what it is. Because like I've
Yeah.
watched Eric Chaconis wrestle, bodied every single kid his senior year. I almost wrestled him as a freshman. My coach just forfeited the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Fernandez is at Buck. No. Chaconis is at Bucknell right now. You
Yeah. I've
yeah. You probably
practiced with him.
yeah. He's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have like the same glow up in college that people really expected of him. 2-time state champ. The thing with Fernandez is his freshman year he was a 170, didn't even make the state tournament, right? His sophomore year,
Hmm.
195, made the states, went home without anything. But his junior year, he was ranked third at 220, behind two other D1 commits, one Buffalo commit and one Rutgers commit. He already pinned the number one heavyweight in state at that point, right? Who's committed to Ryder. He wrestles there right now. Basically, the guy picked bottom second period, and he pinned him 29 seconds into the period. So at this point, he's like,
Ryan Cloud.
huh? No, not Ryan Cloud, Michael Tile.
Oh,
Yeah, he's back up. Cloud's not bad, but Stencil bodied this kid.
Cloud's a unit.
Yeah. You see what Matt Stencil did to him?
I didn't.
Matt Stencil absolutely bodied this kid, just snapped him right to his face, and went and just like set up like a head pinch, just went boom. I was like, wow. It was like a standing cement mixer too. Like it was bad. Like and then he went to the state tournament. He was a 6 seed. Um, he ended up wrestling the number one kid in the state at the semifinals. Right, the seeding was whack that year. Like I'll tell you that right now. There's no way this kid should have got 60. He just had like no real criteria at states.
Yeah.
He wrestles the 9 seed in the finals. The craziest thing is I made a bracket that year because I was like a sophomore. I was obsessed with these kids. Like I looked up to all of them. I made a bracket. I had the 9 and 6 seed meeting in the finals.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I can't even find it anymore, so nobody's gonna believe me. But I had the 9 seed winning 3-1 Southern victory because I wrestled that kid that season, and this was like the point, like heavyweight, where like I'm like, if the guy shoots on me, that should be 2 points for me pretty easily. Just snap and spin until I
Yeah.
wrestled this kid. He snapped me. I ran directly at him like 10 feet because like I couldn't regain my balance. He hits a high cross, so I'm like, okay, sprawl. I'm sprawling for a second. He proceeds to get his hips under me, lift me, and just slam me on my back and run a half. Keep in mind, this kid isn't like a heavyweight. He was like 218, right? As dates while Fernandez was about 220. He takes a bad shot in the first period, gets taken down by Fernandez, immediately throws him legs and almost pins him. Gets a 2 count, I think, and then they reset, stalemate. He puts him in a cradle, still in the first period, and he's up 7-0 going to second. The other kid then ankle picks him, right? Looked like he's about to climb up the body, gets chin whipped and pinned by Fernandez. And then I'm watching this kid his second year, right? So for his region championship his junior year, he wrestled this kid who ended up pinning late in the third period for a region title. His senior year, he wrestled this kid at one tournament, ended up pinning this kid in 18 seconds. Keep in mind that kid's still like a top 5 kid in the state. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be crazy. Just watch. Because he was only like 250 at the point of states. And if he puts in the working time, he's working with like a lot of bigger kids in college, right? And he won like over 500 at the D1 level, and he's just steadily improving. So I think he can make it pretty far. And like if you put him versus Gable, like next year, I think it can be a competitive match.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me about that just because Gable's Gable. Like you saw Paris give him like a fight. Like Paris wasn't close to
Yeah.
doing that, but like Paris gave him a fight. And Fernandez is a freak too. It just took him a while to build into his body.
Yeah. The only thing I can guarantee you is that heavyweight's going to be a show next year. I mean,
The top four
you're
guys.
going to see upsets left and right.
Yeah. The only guys that really solidify themselves are Gable, Paris, and Cassiope. I think Cassiope is very upsettable, honestly, in the situation. I think Kirk can make the finals, honestly, too. But yeah, do you see Carter Isley from UNI placing?
There's just too many guys. I can't.
Because he does
Like,
have a win over Trent Hoger, 9-6 at Midlands. But he also got pinned by Mason Paris in like a minute. He got hit with the dumb right to his back. Because like I don't know where to count those because like you can't really replicate that dump. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like it's just
it's.
interesting to stop.
I mean, you take the top
Yeah.
top 10, 15 guys at heavyweight. It's really just going to be a series of people beating each other.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of matches that are maybe some guys that don't necessarily have the technical or athletic skill to beat the other guy, but just based on style, you're going to see some wins that are going to shake everything up. So I can
Because there's no
definitely
way Carter Isley is better than Trent. Like ranking wise, Trent Hoger would be over a lot of guys that Carter Isley couldn't beat, and then he just beats him head up. Because like
yeah.
if you've seen Hilger wrestle, he has a problem with like a lot of bigger guys for some reason. Like, and that's the one hump that I think if he overcomes, he could be a national title contender.
Yeah.
Because like I think Hilger versus Neville's, I think Neville's would win that honestly, and Neville's is nowhere of the level of Hilger.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make sense to me.
It's a lot of it is about style and it's about what can happen. I mean, say you take a kid who's not very great on his feet and you put it against someone but has a great top ride, and you put him against someone who's maybe great on their feet but has a bad bottom. No matter how many takedowns the kid in neutral is going to score, all the kid's got to do is pick top and it's over.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the rankings right now, just see like where they stand. Honestly,
Yep.
it's like these rankings are. Oh yeah, Jordan Wood we forgot about. Honestly, like he had a great season. Like he could have made the national finals that year. Went to overtime with Derek White. He almost had it too, but you know,
Yeah.
the thing is like I think Mason Parrish was so gassed up with his win like over Amar Desi.
Yeah, by a mile.
Year, like
That.
like Desi just came off the freestyle circuit. Just really wasn't like, just didn't look the same honestly that season. Because if you look at the season before, did you ever see Amar Desi versus Adam Kuhn?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Desi was right there to win that match too. Kuhn took a bad shot, got flagged.
Desi was really overhyped when he came back, I think. But
I don't think
then,
he's overhyped. I think the weight class just grew past him, honestly. If you put Desi in the freestyle circuit, he beats 90% of these guys, except for Gable.
yeah. No, that's true. I think freestyle, there's just so many heavyweights.
Because he's like a guy who's never wrestled folk style. You know what I'm saying? Like he grew up in Canada, like one of the just random place in Canada. Always wrestled freestyle. He got an offer to go to school, I think, for free at Oregon State. So he just took on that. Because you never see kids like that going to Oregon State. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they have Matt Stencil ranked third over Tony Cassiope.
Yes, I do see that. I'm on that too right now.
I don't know where that comes into play ever, honestly.
Oh, are you looking at the most recent one?
Are you looking at the WrestleStat?
I'm looking at Flo.
Yeah, and I'm looking at WrestleStat. I'm just going based on that because
Mm.
my Flow subscription just expired. If they want to hook me up with a free one, I'll take it. But no, I somehow finessed my dad into buying it once. You know, if I get income off of this, that's going to be my first investment.
It's my yearly Christmas present.
That's dope.
Flow Wrestling subscription.
I don't think Tate Orndorff should be ranked set. Or just go to WrestleStat though, real quick, because we're looking at the same rankings.
He's 8th on Flow.
Yeah, who?
Tate Orndorff.
Yeah, I don't see him being ranked. Where's he? Yeah, he's ranked 7th on this. I think he's more down towards like 11 and 12. I think he had a great part of the year going like he had, he had like a pretty good beginning to the year. Like he ended up going number 2 in the rankings, I think. And then he just low-key fell off.
Yeah.
Jordan Wood. And Jordan Wood, too, I think had like a really off season. But I honestly think he's going to come back from that next year.
Yeah, he did have a really
close. He missed a shot of making like being a national title contender.
Yeah, I think I feel like he's been around forever and he's just still here, but he's gonna be an older guy. But I think at Lehigh he probably just needs to focus on specific matchups, I guess, because he is pretty great at taking care of just the typical dual match with schools, but then once he gets into the big stage, he'll wrestle good, but he just ends up choking.
He never really choked. I mean, he plays 4th as a 4th,
Yeah, no, I understand, but he just never ends up like getting there. Like you have those guys that just, I mean, like think of, and this is obviously a specific case, but like Kyle Connell 2 years ago, like these guys that kind of have just like this clutch instinct, and I think he needs to focus a lot on just wrestling one match at a time.
Because like, have you ever wrestled a kid like, say if they put you up against like Gable Steveson, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's tied 0-0. You get an upper body tie. Are you going for the lat drop?
No.
You're not?
No, because if I'm 0-0 and it's not the first minute of the match, with Gable Steveson, that means that I have the potential.
No, not like a minute. I mean like right into the match. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, just say
yeah.
Just be realistic. The kid will pin you in under a minute.
Yeah, I get an upper body tie.
You're going for it.
Going for it. Yeah.
And like I get so much like crap for that, like because I try going for this stuff. Like sometimes I pin myself going for it, but like think about like was the kid not like I might as well know that I shot my shot and got shut down rather than just letting the kid blast double me, letting the kid run whatever he wants on me pinning me, right?
Yeah.
And like that, like my coach agrees with that, but like nobody else seems to understand that, which really doesn't make any sense to me.
It depends on, I guess, what's going on. Because right now, obviously, I would say that, but I mean, get another year under my belt, maybe I get an upper body tie. You need to make smart decisions, because if you don't, if everyone kind of went at it with that mentality that I'm wrestling Gable Steveson in the first 20 seconds, I'm gonna have to try and get a throw if I get the chance. Like, you're not gonna ever see him get upset because no one's gonna really pull it off.
No, it's not. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it to like every kid.
No, I know.
I'm saying like if I'm like a D1 like freshman, just kids going to get absolutely beat up, I'm seeing the Gable Steveson. I'm not gonna say like, oh crap, that's Gable Steveson. No, he's gonna whoop me. I'm gonna go for something big. Why not shoot my shot? I'm not saying on every kid. Like if you're ranked like 15th and you're going up to kids just ranked like 12th, you're not gonna try that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's chance for like an actual potential upset. But I'm at the point where like say if I'm down by like say if the match is like 3-2 and I'm losing, if I wasn't able to get on a shot the first 5 minutes of the match, I'm probably not gonna get on one now. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why not go for the throw? Like if team score is not a part of it, I'm going for the throw. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because that's my thing. Like I go for upper body. Like if I'm not a big shot guy just in general. Like I can do it. It's just
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it
but,
just takes.
yeah,
I think there's two different ways, I guess, to go about it. Because you can, if you could catch him, then you catch him. But I mean, if you're trying to really establish yourself, even as a freshman, um,
no, I mean just like a typical freshman.
no, I know, but like even as a freshman, typical freshman, any of that, if you're just trying to make your mark, I guess,
Yeah,
on the scene, the way you're gonna do that is by taking a match with Gable Steveson, and yeah, you could throw him and you could make something happen, maybe, but you could also drop yourself to your back and get pinned in 30 seconds, and then, I mean, really nothing comes of it. So
yeah.
you
But thing
can't
is,
like,
it's like look at the risk versus reward. Risk is like you're getting pinned. I know that, but like it's Gable Steveson.
yeah,
It's like it's not like you were. It'd be like the difference between him majoring you and you getting pinned is the difference between him pinning you and you possibly. Because like even if you throw him and like because like I hit that throw like when I was telling you about, I didn't pin him. I ended up getting pinned afterwards, right? So what happened was like literally the whole because like I run this big ass page, right? We
hmm
had about 5,000 followers at the time. Now I'm about 10K. Basically, half the state found out about it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like if you throw Gable Steveson or even take him down for 2 points, people hear about it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the Gable versus Mason Paris Big Ten match. You saw the part where Gable got thrown to his back like after the whistle.
hmm
Like that was talked about. Like you can see obviously
yeah,
Gable just let him do it because the whistle blew, and it's just like that. So
yeah.
they got some like weird guys ranked. Like they got Brian Andrews from Wyoming, who I honestly think is an 0-2 guy at nationals.
Deontay Wilson.
Where is he? He's pretty low, right?
He's 19.
From NC State.
He's from New York.
Yeah. Remember the old heavyweight from NC State? I don't know, some who was. I remember he was wrestling Kyle Snyder, right? This
Well,
guy.
Gwiz was the old heavyweight.
No, I mean like right after Wiz.
Oh,
Not like old, like 20, like Kyle Snyder senior year. This guy proceeds to just blast double Kyle Snyder into another dimension.
I can't think
I've
of it.
never seen what's the NC State coach's name?
It's right now
Yeah,
Papalizio,
yeah,
maybe?
that's who it is. Yeah, I see this guy gets so hyped after he blasts double Snyder. And
I
he
don't.
ended up getting tech that match too. It's not like, but like that one takedown gets talked about, you know.
Yeah,
Yes, these rankings are terrible, dude.
Doyle's on
Christian
there.
Lance is not 24th from Nebraska.
Oh, this is the website.
Yeah, I think Lucas Luffman should be higher than 28th.
Let's see. I'm ranked on this website
You really where?
about
You looked at wrong.
5,000 or something, or no. There's a specific. I don't know how to get to it.
Yeah,
But they do like um they did a thing.
they have Tate
Yeah,
on
here it is.
starting though. Are you on WrestleStat?
Yep, I'm ranked 154 at 285.
That's dope, man. Where do you see that?
If you look up my name, Binghamton Wrestling, it'll come up with my page. But it literally means nothing. It's just a
Yeah,
funny thing to look at.
it's just based on high school rankings.
Yeah.
I would say Luis Fernandez should be ranked on this, but he did just come out of red shirt, so they have no real reason to rank him.
Yeah.
I think he's like one of the biggest sleeper picks. Like, for all I know, he could come out and win the weight class.
Yeah, I think it's a really big toss up with him, and you don't really know what's necessarily going to happen, but I mean, having
I
coached him,
know
like,
he's gonna be a national qualifier.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm also gonna say he places top 3 in the EIWA hands down.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because who do you have in the EIWA? You have Jordan Wood and you have
You,
Yaroslav
yeah,
Slavovich from Harvard. I'm looking through. I really don't see anybody else. Oh, you have John Birchmeyer.
yep,
No, you know what I'm saying? Birchmeyer's only ranked because he wrestled last season.
yeah.
Coming
No,
out of
you're
high
right.
school, Luis Fernandez was ranked 5th and John Birchmeyer 6th.
I uh I think Luis Fernandez would be John Birchmeyer. I think John Birchmeyer was great in high school.
Like, he
Cause
just body kids.
an absolute, like, I mean, have you ever like seen the guy in person?
Nah, I watched him at Escape the Rock, I think.
He is like the first time I think I saw him, the guy looks like Kyle Snyder.
Yeah.
Like he's just ripped. And when I wrestled him, I think I was a little surprised that like he didn't have a really natural like feel to him, I guess. It was my third ever freestyle match. So he took me down, laced me, and then he took me down again and to win. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was hand fighting with him, and I was getting on him. I was getting on him hard, and he hit me with a high crotch and sat the corner. He just laced me, but um, he just, I don't know. There's something about him that just didn't really feel like anything spectacular. I guess if I had been training for that match, if I had planned for that match, I think I could have done a lot better than I had. But I don't know.
Did you know who he was before you wrestled him?
Yeah.
You did. All right.
Yeah, I saw him wrestle Colton Schultz at Iron Man.
Yeah, that match was insane. You know the one movie he was doing like where Colin Schultz got the rush and he just spins out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that this season like just for fun. My coach was like, post on the head or like peel the wrist off, and I would just spin just because.
Yeah.
I honestly think Fernandez either majors or pins Birchmeyer.
Yeah, I think he'd major him.
Yeah, I think like Fernandez can stick people. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He could very well attack him. All depends on how he can get Birchmeyer to open up on top, because that's his power position, right?
Yeah.
Yo, why are we all forgetting about Colton Schultz? Hold up. Doesn't he come to the weight class, or is he taking the? How are red shirts working next year? That's the real thing.
I have no idea.
Can he take an Olympic red shirt next year?
I do not have a clue. If he can, he should.
Yeah, because I think he just wants to water down this weight class as much as possible.
I mean, and he has a chance. I mean, he's got a shot at going.
Like, he got teched by Gable in a freestyle, but that's also when Schultz was a 220.
Well, yeah, and also his thing is Greco.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but the thing is, finishing shots on him are a lot easier said than done, too.
Yeah.
It's like he will let you shoot just to throw you. And that's just so unique about his Greco game is like he can throw you while you're on the leg. Like he doesn't need to pull you up or anything in the upper body. Like that's what Adam Kuhn needs to do.
Yeah.
I think he beats Cassiope and Stencil and Paris. I do too. I think Gable and Kirkley are the only two legitimate threats to him.
Yeah.
This Harvard kid is a pure toss-up also. He could very well come out of nowhere and win the weight class too.
Yeah,
it's Gable's weight class. It's so wide open, like people don't even know. Because I think Zach Elam could come out of nowhere too, honestly.
It's just a toss-up all over. I mean, there's so many people that you could just see have a great offseason and come out of nowhere, and that would just be you're going to see upsets all over the place.
But what I'm considering is like their training partner right now.
Yeah.
Who does Greg Kirkley have to train with? Kyle Snyder, Nick Nells, Bo Nickel, Cale Sanderson. and Seth Neville's, which is just insane. Um, who does Zach Elam have to train with? He has Don Bradley. And think
Yeah,
about the looks it's going to give you. Kirk gets every look. He's going to have a look of a big, strong guy coming at him with Seth Neville's. He's going to have a look of like an actual Olympic champ coming at him with that. Nick Neville's is like lost a lot of weight. He's a little more lean and athletic now. Zach Elam is going to have Don Bradley, who's just a tank coming at him. Does Trent Hoger have anybody training with? No, not really.
Wisconsin, not that I can think
Does
of.
Connor Medbury still wrestle or no?
I have no idea.
I don't think so. Tony Cassiope has nobody, honestly. Sam still doesn't wrestle anymore.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah. Dude, that sucks. Like, his career went so south just due to injuries.
Yeah, injuries
So,
suck.
like, he could have very well been a Greco World Team member, too. Jordan Wood doesn't have anybody. Tate Orndorff at Ohio State has nobody anymore. Harvard doesn't have anybody to think of. Gable has Brock Lesnar, not even a real trading partner, honestly. He has Tony Nelson.
Yeah.
Mason Parris is Adam Kuhn. Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, Mason Parris probably hits that dump on Adam Kuhn half the time.
Yeah, I think that's
Squash straight hits the dump. But
that'd be
you've
a fun
seen guys
practice.
who can't hit the dump on. Like he's not. People think the dump is size, it's athleticism is defending it, right? He can't hit the dump on Gable Stevenson, and he couldn't hit the dump on Trent Hooker. But that I think if the seeds can fall in his favor, Trent Hooker can make the national finals too. If Trent Hooker can possibly pull the Yaroslav or something in the round of 16, pull Zach Elam in the quarterfinals, and Mason Parris in the semifinals, he's making the national finals with Gable. But if he does get stuck up against like Carter Isley or somebody like that, he loses.
I think I just personally I can't predict it. It's too hard for me because I mean we say these things right now and training partners and everything, and next thing you know there's gonna be some freshman that comes out and is ranked in the top 10 next year because there's just random kids coming out from all over the place on top of the guys who are already established, and I mean it's gonna be a heck of a season.
Are you starting to get tired? Or
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
I PT
like another
10:30.
You sleep at 10:30?
I have PT at 10:30.
Oh, so you're chilling for like another round. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, let's go back to like you in general. So again, D1 commit. So you said you're doing this big bike ride thing, bike tour.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
So I started biking as a way to work out because they don't have a gym around here. So I've been biking a lot recently, and I decided to do a trip to Syracuse from on the Erie Canal from where I live. So that is about 105 miles, and it's going to take about 9 hours. And originally I was just going to do it for the fun of it, but we decided to make it a fundraiser. So we're fundraising because our fire department doesn't have isn't able to run any fundraisers that they plan to have. We usually have a huge carnival in our town that tons of people come out for from around the area, and it's pretty huge, but they can't have that this year. So we're just trying to help.
Yeah. So how far is the thing?
105 miles.
So how long will that take, like, approximately, like, do you think?
9-10 hours.
9-10 hours. You're doing that all at once?
Yep.
Have you done
it
before?
Just me. Just getting up at 6:30 on
Just
Wednesday and
you?
going.
Like nobody with you?
Nope. And then I'm gonna get picked up when I get there.
So you're just gonna be like biking on the side of the highway, or like?
I'm taking the Erie Canal pathway.
Is it
That
like a bike
runs.
path or like?
So the Erie Canal runs through most of New York State.
You know that?
But you can take it straight. You'd follow it. There's a bike path that goes all the way around or all the way on it. And you can take it just about all the way to Syracuse. You hop off on another road and go for another 20 miles and you're there.
That's interesting. How much have you guys raced so far?
Let me check. Last time I saw we were at today was the first or the second day it was open really. We're
Yeah.
at 515.
What's the goal on this?
It's just at 1,000 because I had no idea what to set it at, so that's
Did
the
you
goal
try
for right
to did you try to get other people to do this with you or no?
now. No, the whole plan was for me to just do it by myself because I wanted really something to do. It sounded like a fun thing to do just for the heck of it. But there's a lot of people that are sharing it. I think there's 203 shares right now on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to put it out wherever I can. This is just the first one. I'm gonna do more than one. I'm gonna do one to Buffalo from where I am. I'm gonna go to Ithaca or Cornell.
So you're just going further and further.
I'm just trying to go around. I'm gonna change up the organization every time, trying to raise some money, do some good while working out.
Oh wait, you're in New York. I was thinking weird real quick. I'm like, how's that 100 miles? Well, come to New Jersey sometime, dude.
Yeah, I was pretty close. First time I was ever in New Jersey, me and my dad, we were at the Northeastern Regional.
Yeah.
Took a road little detour when we were there, and because that's in the Poconos.
Yeah.
And passed a sign that said "Welcome to New Jersey."
Yeah. That's a pretty interesting thing you're doing, honestly. Like, you should guys send me the thing. I'll share it somewhere.
Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
Or when we're done.
So what else, Cyrus, we can honestly talk about? I mean, you're a heavyweight. Why not talk about 197 a little bit, honestly?
I know about nothing about 197.
Yeah, we just got to talk about one dude.
Sam Dupre.
Chase Singletary.
Making
the cut to 197.
That is I completely forgot about that kid. Kid's from Blair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know he did that. That's wild. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, 197 is just like its own unique thing. I have a friend, Sam Dupre, his brother, he's the brother Lou. He wrestles 97 for Bing. And he's wrestled Brucky and gotten put out against some guys, and he's a unit. I mean, he's a great wrestler. He knocked off some top 5 guys his senior year in high school. He was ranked in the top 20. Went in and just it was a hard year for him just because these guys at 97. I mean, I would look at Chase Singletary. I mean, some of them the size of heavyweights. They're huge.
I mean, Chase Singletary was never really that big.
He's not that, but I mean for 197,
Yeah.
like they're guys who put on a couple. They could be heavyweights.
Do you think he should be ranked 14th though?
That's where I really don't know. I think 197 was pretty weak this year.
You know the whole HQMA podcast we were doing before?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You know the whole HQMA podcast thing we did before? No, all right.
I don't think so.
You know DeSanto 133?
Yeah.
And then the defensive pin. So we all got together. We just did a podcast in general. Just we felt like starting it, but nobody really felt like continuing with this. So I'm like, why not do this myself? Pull up some heavyweights here and just chill.
Yeah.
So we were going over. We just literally went over national champ picks, which probably was the smartest thing to do for our first podcast. But for 197, my picks were like very interesting.
Mhm.
I had number 10 ranked Cordell Norfleet from Arizona State
Yep.
taking first because I saw him take down Collin Moore like 3 times. It was a 9-11 match.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then I had Ben Darmstadt from Cornell, like the
Yep.
one. You know he's only a junior. That's the craziest part.
Yeah. Yeah, he got injured,
Yeah.
so he got the injury.
He already has
Michael
like
Beard.
I have him taking second. I think
Michael
Beard's
Beard.
like a complete wild card in this.
Guys, I mean, did he win
Doesn't.
Scuffle? Took second at Scuffle?
I think Nathan Traxler won the Scuffle.
Yeah, I think he took second at Scuffle as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's crazy.
Yeah. The fact that you got guys from like all over the place, like Noah Adams from West Virginia, like I think he's just straight overhyped, honestly. And I had Chase Singletary taking third.
Yeah, I mean,
because it doesn't look like the cut's going to be too stressful on his body. Because he wasn't like, if you saw him like next to Anthony Cassar, they both weighed the same, and Anthony Cassar was a lot leaner. I don't think the cut's going to be too devastating on him. So, yeah.
I think it's an interesting change because 197 is just so different to heavyweight.
It's like it's not like these guys can't succeed, but like because a lot of these smaller guys have wrestled like different weight classes. It's not like they were always a heavyweight, so like they know how to compete at those weight classes.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
My main concern about Singletary is I don't think he has the strength, honestly, to compete with those top guys. Which is like weird to say because he's a heavyweight moving down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just didn't look as physically dominant. He looked like he just used his speed and finesse more at heavyweight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how tall he is.
5'10".
Yeah, that sucks.
That's assuming like Cassar's like 6'2", which I think he is.
Darmstadt's tall.
Darmstadt's 6'4", I think.
So when you put him against these guys, I mean, you're taking a guy who's getting put in heavyweight, which is such a unique weight class with such a unique style to it. I mean, you have some guys that you can go your entire season with more escapes, like way more escapes than takedowns and more turns, more pins, throws. I mean, that's all you. I'm tired, so I'm not really saying anything right, but you know what I mean. We're different types of wrestlers. So going down to 197, where I feel like a lot of these guys when they were in high school were 182s and 170s that have just gained weight over time.
So it's not like they forgot how to wrestle. It's like they can still compete with those weight classes. But think about it, like if you look at Darmstadt, you're from the New York area, you've seen him wrestle.
Yeah.
Such like he's just a different wrestler.
Yeah, he's really top heavy.
Yeah, he's like unique in like his style too.
Yeah. And obviously he's kind of a favorite in that because he's a returning All-American.
Yeah.
And being put in the Cornell room is obviously a great thing for him. But I don't think I just see Chase Singletary being a guy that could make too much noise next year. That's me personally. He could come out and win nationals, and I wouldn't be surprised because 197 just is a toss-up sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the weight class is so dead even, honestly, at the top. It's like half of these guys, like none of them stick out. It's like it was like Pat Rucky and Jacob Warner were supposed to be like the guys, and then they just pure choked, honestly.
Yeah, they did. Brucky's 4 now, right?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised if like number 20 Jelani Embry from Michigan came out and won this, or
There's
even Billy Janzer from Rutgers, and Brian McLaughlin from Drexel can make some noise too.
there's just a lot of like
Yeah.
Dakota Gear.
Ooh, an extra one. Thomas Pinola from Purdue is making the cut to one. I don't think he was cutting. I think he's going 197 this year. He ended up placing seventh at Big Tens behind Gary Traub.
I see. I feel like 197 is gonna be.
It's
It
just
always is a weird weight class, but I think it's gonna be slightly more established this year. With a lot of juniors, a lot of upperclassmen.
yeah. I think it's
Um,
like a dead toss up with everybody, honestly, because you have like no establishing guys anymore, and the way like you think Brookie and Warner were like supposed to be those guys, like they didn't do anything last year. That's kind of the problem. Like
yeah,
possibilities, either it's complete toss up, Noah Adams lives up to the hype, or it's like a dead toss up in between. We see so many ranking changes, like we did at heavyweight this year.
yeah. I think it's just it's a very unique place because I think Darmstadt really is going to be a guy that will make a lot of noise. But you're going to have Jacob Warner and Brucky both coming back and knowing the weight class well while you're having Singletary moving down and having to adjust. I don't think that Singletary has the time to adjust to the weight class and be able to perform his best compared to some of these guys that
It's
are already.
honestly you don't know. He could very well be like at weighing 200 right now or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're starting to get tired, so we'll move along with this. Um, so like just like off this topic, you go into Binghamton class 2024. You're coming in as a freshman next season. So what are your goals to accomplish during college, and what do you have planned for the future?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Um,
starting close.
so obviously, if you ask anyone who's wrestling in college, if they're at the right mindset, they should all tell you the same thing. It's to be national champ.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
But like
so
realistically, look as your freshman goals, just like short. Yeah,
freshman goals.
like not even all sports. Like maybe like school, some stuff. Just talk to us about what you plan on doing.
So I'm majoring in mathematics. So
Interesting.
I want to get well accustomed to that because it's very different than the way it is right now for me. I have fun with math, but my friend that I mentioned before, Nate Weiber, that was the heavyweight when I was a freshman. He studies mathematics right now at the University of Rochester. And he's just shown me some stuff, and it's really unique. So I'm gonna have to get accustomed to that. I know, and it's different than a lot of these guys that have just different majors. So I'm trying to pick something more complex. But wrestling wise, my goal is really to just jump as high as I can skill wise. I think as long as there's no injuries or anything, I should still be redshirted this year. That's just what I think. It's whatever my coaches want is really what's important, what's best for our team. But I really just want to take our incoming class, which is pretty strong, and hopefully we can get all the guys to move forward and have everyone moving in the right direction. Because as much as I think is I wanna do good and set myself up for a good college career. I want to set up our team for a good college career. So that's really what I want to do freshman year.
And yeah, that's set the timer. Give me 1 second. So looking back on like your high school career, it's obviously a long 4 years. I've taken some time to look back on mine, just reflecting on it. Like, just what do you think? Like when you look back on your high school career, like how do you think you did? What are some things you would change if you would change anything? And just like how do you feel about it in general?
I was pretty happy with it. I didn't really have access to any, like, we don't have any big clubs around here, so
Yeah.
I was really hopping clubs for the most part. But really, my entire high school career was just spent with sports. I mean, starting freshman year, I would have days where I would go 6:30 workout for football to school all day to right after school. We'd have our team lift until 3:30. And then I'd leave the team lift, I'd go home, I'd eat a sandwich, and I'd get in the car and head out 45 minutes for a practice that started at 7 o'clock out in a place on the other side of the city, and I'd practice there until 8:30, and I'd come home, and then I'd do my homework, go to bed, and repeat every day. And the spot would change, but it was generally the same. I mean, this past year going into my senior year, I was doing the same thing, but instead of going home and eating a sandwich, I'd get another wrestling practice in before I'd leave to go to the next wrestling practice. So um I've used these years as, like, I realized that I have to catch up, getting put in my school where I am. I mean, last year we had 5 state champs. We had I was with Ryan Burgos, who's wrestling for Edinburgh. He is in my class, and he's been wrestling since he was a kid. Greg Yakmahalis, obviously going to Cornell, ranked #1 in the country. We had Gregor McNeil, who you probably know his older brother Lachlan.
Yes.
Ray wrestles at SEM right now. He was a state champ for us last year and on the Canadian national team. We had Sam Dupre, who's a 197 for Binghamton right now. And looking at all those guys and seeing what they'd done, they'd all started wrestling when they were 4, and I started wrestling when I was 13. So I knew that I had to kind of put in a different level of work compared to everyone else. So, I mean, to this day, I've never drank. I've never smoked or done anything. Not once, I've partied. I really spent all my time just practicing.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy because I mean, like a lot of guys can't really say that honestly, that they've never
Yeah.
done anything like that sort. Like
I
college,
Sorry.
college things happen. Like I'm not gonna endorse anything. Like I've never done any of those things either.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just,
yeah.
it's not
It's
appealing to
like
me.
sometimes it gets the best of some people, and you see things like can go to trash. Like honestly, like if you saw Zahid Valencia's junior year, what was going on like mid season with him, and what happened, unfortunately, at the end of his season, like why he got
Yeah.
suspended and all that. I can't really say that right now, but you know. So I
Yeah.
guess yeah, say what you
Sorry.
want.
No,
No,
I was just gonna agree with you.
yeah, okay. I think we should just start to wrap it up, or
Yeah.
it's kind of late. So thank you for joining me today, Colin. It was great having you on the thing. I wish you
Yeah.
the best of luck in the future at Bing, and can't wait to see you do big things. Maybe we might do another podcast soon. I'll catch up with you or something like that. Who knows? And this has been episode 4, guys, and thank you for joining me.